what sort of strategies and thought processes, systems, etc., do you find are very valuable to the entrepreneur?
Yeah, like to start off with, Ben Franklin said there's two things are guaranteed in life. You have death and you have taxes, right? And I tell people I'm not a funeral home director, that's not my thing, but I focus on tax in our company because that's an inevitability. And so a lot of founders, they come into the process and either they're not setting up their organization in a proper structure or fashion, either for the raise or for tax purposes, and then the way that they're tracking their expenses or the way that they're looking at expenses is not done properly to optimize that, right? So when we look at it, we look at setting up tax in a way where it creates a structural advantage because everyone's going to pay tax. Now, the thing is, if we can help you minimize that tax or help you get tax credits for developing and creating new products, that allows you to free up capital or cash that would originally go to the federal and state government, but now could go to further building your company. So a lot of it is very structural and a lot of it is also very tactical. So it's a combination of things. We look at it from a holistic perspective and say, hey, Paul, with your company, where are you looking to go? What are you looking to do with this? Are you looking to exit this? Is this lifestyle income based? And then from there, build a holistic plan that's catered directly to you, your goals, and your company.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I mean that's definitely something I've seen, for the couple companies I've exited, right? Like the entity structure is important throughout, as well as the entity structuring of the exit, right? Like is the IP in a different entity or is there a holding company or all these different things? And that traditionally seems to be more on the 8, 9 figure plus sort of level. 7 figure, it may not be as applicable. 6 figure type exit really, really depends. But ultimately, to your point, super beneficial to, not even beneficial, just economical, right? To be able to structure for the company in terms of taxes, as well as for taking on equity, like you shared, and then also sell as well. Are there, tax strategy wise? I mean, you mentioned like, credits, right? That people can get for, development. Do you tend to find that people are aware of these different tax strategies as they're going through these defense savings, or is it really a lot of education along the way?
That's a good question. I feel like a lot of people have access to how some of these credits work thanks to just the general information on the internet, chat GPT and what have you. The thing is, a lot of the information you find on the internet typically is relatively incomplete. So a lot of folks, to get like a piece of information from TikTok or Instagram or ChatGPT, and they don't realize that there's more facets to it, right? They always say the devil's in the details.
For sure.
So the R&D tax credit is constantly developing, moving, and shifting because of the BBB bill that passed last year. Some of it has changed. Another one that's a big one that a lot of founders they kind of know about it, but they don't have all the details, is what we call the qualified small business stock or QSBS election on the exit side. They did change that. They changed the holding period of the stock and they changed like the maximum exclusions. So I feel like a lot of the founders that we talk to, they've heard of these things. But the biggest challenge they have is their existing accountancy or tax professionals don't give them the proactive advice so that way they could set up for it. Because a lot of these things you need to set up from the get-go to take advantage of it later down the road. And most tax professionals, unfortunately, are reactionary as opposed to proactive. And then so the founder gets to the point of exit and then they're like, hey, but I heard this existed. Can we do it? And the guy or their tax professional's like, hey, we should have set this up 3-5 years ago. And then the founder's like, why didn't you tell me about this? This is whole back and forth, right? So what we pride ourselves in our firm is we want to understand where you're headed to be proactive with this. And as things change, obviously shift your tax strategy, but make sure that you're set up properly based on the intention of where you're looking to take your business.
Yeah,